It's that time once again.
Alright. Chicka, chicka, chicka. Hey, hey, hey. So whenever you hear that, just know that the
you know
Master
what time
Bus
it is.
is back.
Benon. Tujja kugulira ebyokuzanyisa.
Hey. Hey. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're back once again with the Master Bus. And this time around,
bro,
man, how are we handling this?
How do we start? How do we even start?
This is an overkill. But yeah, I mean,
guys, just know if you see me on Netflix at some point, just know how it all started.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So in the house, ladies and gentlemen, we have Africa's equivalent of Hans Zimmer. Let's go! Together with George Lucas combined with Tarantino. Loukman Ali and
man.
Everyone needs to get their own pui.
Okay, so who do we start with?
Loukman Ali.
Hey, good to have you on the show. Yeah.
And go ahead, introduce.
Everybody give it up for the one and only Mr. Ahuura.
Very good to be here.
So
there are two people I know. Okay, three. You are on the list as well. Like when they're just talking about sounds, they are excited. They can start bringing out numbers. Gwe akaimba akaulide akati wali waka gundi hao akadi mu 8 cow Nika, this guy Nelson and you have that habit also. Gwe imba Luina gundi sabu mu 20 nga ekola buko. It's great to have you.
No, we're so excited, guys.
We are blessed.
Listen, we couldn't wait for this show. We are seated with the guys who have created some of the content that has lifted Uganda to the next level. I'm so excited to have Ahuura and Mr. Loukman. I remember I met Ahuura in before 2012, but like to really interact, it was around 2012. We were working together. He was doing sound for a concert. I was part of the band, and from that point on, I think we just clicked. We just connected on that point of sound, and ever since then, every once in a while, we're like, "Gwe, have you heard this new? There's this new microphone that came out."
I'm sure half the time you're talking about gear and plugins.
Every single time.
So for those that don't know you, that maybe live under a cave, please tell us a bit about you.
Well, I'm Andrew Ahuura. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm the team lead at Quad A. Quad A is a post facility. What we are doing is rebranding Africa through sound, and we want to tell a narrative that has been so much lost because we've noticed that people are doing more of importing than exporting. So, and in the process of doing that, you end up losing your identity, who you are. I will say this, a famous person that we've worked together with, Huma Sekela, said before he died, and I think they were interviewing him, and he said, I pray in the future our children don't say we used to be called Ugandans or we used to be called Africans.
But there used to be people called Africans.
There used to be people called Africans.
Oh,
that statement,
that's scary.
That struck me, and from that moment on, it has kept on inspiring what we do at Quad A, to tell authentic African stories without compromising quality, without saying we can't do it, without putting limits on ourselves. So attention to detail, not compromising the standards. What is driving the other industry? Is it this? Okay, we can get it. Having a mindset of we can do it. So that's what we do. That's what I've been doing. We do it in the advertising industry. We do it in the entertainment industry. We do it in film. We're doing broadcast. Is it live? We're even now doing a lot of research, R&D into 3D, 3D audio.
Wow.
Immersion. How do you enhance?
Oh, by the way,
How do you enhance the experience?
I guess that's where we're going. But he's the only Dolby certified audio engineer
Well, I can't
that
vouch.
I know.
East and Central. Okay, our team is still doing some research in North
But
Africa to find out.
Those who
whether
don't know what Dolby is, you can use Google. You'll
Yeah.
get to know what
Well,
that is.
I can't verify that statement. However, yes, indeed, we have taken measures to ensure that the people that we work for and the people that we work with are using the latest technology that is driving. The
No, but
industry.
you're Dolby certified, right?
Yes.
That's the part that,
Yes.
You're denying. Eh?
I know. I'm not denying. I'm saying
It's just
the
modest.
Only
It's just modest.
it's just being modest.
In a nutshell,
that's it.
kyayogedde be babi mu kintu kino
Yeah.
be batabu, and you have us to testify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mr. Loukman Ali.
Yes, sir.
Mwana storage.
Tawani.
Nkulabira ddala nga mwana tukujje
Atumutawanya.
tukusumbuwa
Okwogera.
naye unfortunately tukuwambye.
But you see,
He's a-
Loukman-
he's a man-
Bitini.
yeah, he's a
Loukman, you have to
man of
learn
few words.
that you're going to grow old, and then people are going to be inviting you to be keynote speaker. Because you don't handle cameras anymore. That's your job. You just inspire other people. So you have to learn how to talk.
I think when you get older, you have more things to say.
The words, come. That
yeah.
makes sense.
That's very true.
Oh,
Haven't you been
that's
seeing
powerful.
That makes
the
sense.
addresses? They just get longer. Those ones we get
Yeah.
about COVID and other things.
Yeah.
Just get longer.
No, the other time I had the opportunity to be in the State House when the president comes out. The function started a bit late, so he comes out and says, "I have Kamozi for you guys." But there are these visitors of mine that are coming, but I wanted to tell you a lot of Kamozi. And someone told me at that age,
Yeah.
like you have a lot of stuff to say just to lighten up, people. So I understand exactly what you mean. But
So,
nice to
Loukman,
have you here.
Yes,
How
yes.
how would you describe yourself to those that don't know you? Those that don't have Netflix, those that cannot access YouTube.
How can I describe myself? That's a very hard thing. Every time someone tells me to describe myself, I'm like, Wakati, how do I even start?
I'm one of those people.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm a visual artist. I think that's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
I'm a visual artist, visual and audio, because I'm very much interested in audio a lot. That's the best way I can describe my, because I don't see, there's really nothing else. That's pretty much it. I live and breathe that. That's my life.
But like to really, without wasting time, just to break the ice for those who are watching the show and listening in, this is the guy who directed I would say because I'm Ugandan, the first movie on Ugandan movie on Netflix. Is that right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
on Netflix. These two guys, plus Andrew scored the sound
Yeah.
or the music, and then Loukman was the director. They worked together.
The whole film is ADR. Meanwhile, that's a.
You're
that's,
kidding?
Yeah.
Whole movie is Edia.
The entire film is
No
ADR.
way.
I promise you, everything.
You need to break down what
Oh my
ADR
God,
is.
that's a lot of
A
work.
lot of work. It's a ridiculous amount of work.
I don't know what ADR is.
So what happened is we're filming and we were so under equipped.
Uh,
So the scenes we shot inside the car, with all the wind, you
Uh,
couldn't hear what these people were saying.
yeah.
So they basically had to come back in studio and say those words over.
over
Mm.
there.
Yeah, again. And
That
then,
thing happens. Last night I was watching The Woman King.
Yeah.
So you could watch the set, and you're like, for this
It's too loud.
vocal to be this clear,
Yes.
Yeah.
they have to have spoken of. Like, there's
Yeah.
no, even if they use the boom microphone,
Yeah.
it would have picked up something else. There are
Yeah.
people fighting in the back,
Yeah.
but the only thing you're hearing is this person talking very clearly. I was like,
yeah. Like
So-
when people are fighting, all those grunts,
yeah,
like getting punched, like,
yeah.
There's no way you can film all those things because they'll be overlapped things. You
yeah.
get
That's
overlaps.
That's true.
So, and this is the issue we had.
Indeed.
You film all this, you get all this ADR of people in the car, and then when they step out, where you have like decent audio, it no longer works.
Yeah.
Because now your ear is used to the good ADR.
Yeah,
So whatever
it's very
sound,
clean. Yeah,
it just feels
it's
like
very
it's
distracting.
distracting.
Yeah.
So then you end up doing the whole film.
No, wait. Now that I know what ADR is, the whole movie is ADR.
So people
It's
sat
a
there,
lot of work.
they watch,
Stop
they watch
playing.
what they're doing, and they just
and
have
then
to
try to,
do it
try
again.
to redo it again.
Oh my
I've had a similar situation when we did Rolex.
Yeah.
Yes.
The car scene. So
Because of the engine.
Yeah, and also the car rig was a little outside, but on towards the road.
Yeah.
And then Adnan was the one doing sound, but
Yes.
I didn't want him in
Inside.
the car. So he set his stuff, and we were just
You
following.
hope for the best.
Yeah. Man, when we came to preview the sound, because I remember we had Viboyo protecting the gear
Yeah.
because we were, literally driving around the busy streets of Kampala. So he was on a boda. Man, the boda was so loud.
Oh my goodness.
So we had to do ADR, but just for that scene.
Yeah.
But man, getting the right emotions.
Yes.
It's-
Yes. And I think that's the craft. Because you see, you have
So
to,
it's-
the person has to get the exact emotion
Yeah.
That
that
were-
they had that time. So,
Yeah.
Loukman here, you'll correct me. There was what they call method acting. You have to get back
Yeah.
into the mood that you were in that day.
We had to hold an actor upside down, I think.
Yes.
'Cause there's
to get
to get that because it just didn't fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for me the most interesting part was when people are talking and they stammer, not on purpose.
Yes.
It's because they stammer. Like
Yeah.
this actor stammers.
Yeah.
So now he has to stammer on purpose to mimic the stammering.
Yeah.
And
so that it syncs
Yeah.
with the visual.
Yeah.
And when someone is talking and they have those boom,
Yeah.
like that, those things. It's like if they're not there, people
Indeed.
can
Something
tell
is
there's something
missing.
missing.
Yeah.
So that film really exposed me to. It was our first time to do all
Yeah.
these things. You know? Isn't that funny? That film was the first time.
But
for
I'm
us
so
to do so much
excited
things.
because I know I've heard you say before that's not even your best work.
It's not
Yeah.
the story.
That's
of-
exciting.
The story with that film is that I made my first short film called Monday. Then I made The Bad Mexican.
Yeah.
So after The Bad Mexican, I thought I think I'm ready because I'd done some commercials. So I jumped in, head first to do a feature.
Yeah.
After doing that feature, I realized I have a long way to go.
Yeah.
So then I did Blind Date and 16 Rounds as
Yeah.
a way
I've
to
watched
kind of
those. Those are really
practice,
good as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
practice the craft and try to learn more. Yeah, so it's not really. I wouldn't say it's my favorite film, but it is a.
No, I'm proud. I'm proud to identify myself.
I remember when I was telling you about the challenges we went through when we were shooting Rolex. You're like, now that's the real film academy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I learned that it's way different from commercials because we confuse those two. We tend to think that commercials for clients, there's more pressure.
Yeah.
Film it's a whole nother dimension.
Yeah.
And it's pretty exciting to hear you say that it's not your best. I remember texting you the night I'd watched it and you're like Yeah, you did seem so.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because by the time you saw it,
Mm.
we had it. Didn't it come, Andrew? We shot it in 2019, and it went on
Yes.
Netflix about 2021.
Yeah.
Last
no,
year.
Isn't 2018?
Yeah,
No,
2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can imagine all those years just
But
looking at
there was
it.
the scene. There was a scene that we did before. I don't know if that scene.
Yeah, that's the one we did in 2018, end of 2018, I think.
Yeah.
It was that thing of like, let's do this, you know.
Mm.
Let's go to the bush, and then you're like, oh my
Tuge-
god,
tuchukube.
what brought us here?
Yeah.
You start regretting, but now you're in, and you can't just stop. So you just have to finish it.
How much of the work do you do?
So before I even enter this question, I have to first put there
Disclaimer.
a disclaimer. Most of these things happened out of necessity. It's not like I woke up and I'm like, I want to be doing this and this and this and this and this. So most of the visual things I do.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, the shooting, the directing. I also started writing with all my dyslexia. I started writing, directing, editing,
Color grading.
VFX.
Okay.
Yeah, all that
CGI.
all the CGI stuff, explosions, and all that stuff.
But to me, yes, we all know the right way of doing things, you know. But to me, I feel like this even works more to your advantage. Much as you might want the luxury of having a
bodies
DOP,
around.
having probably this big company that handles your VFX, and you know, to me, I feel like the set of skills that he has really work to your advantage.
In crafting a story.
And given our circumstances, that you know, you're able to shoot something like okay, I'll just fix something here. Wanonja kuteka wakasaja kambe wano teke agwedi, I'll do this.
Yeah.
Don't you think that
It helps a lot. I think it's very important actually to have those skills, because I used to do my own audio before I found Andrew.
really?
Yeah, like for Bad Mexican, I did that myself. For Monday, I did that myself. So even some commercials, I used to do it myself. And it's so helpful now that I work with him, because I understand some of the things. Like, for example, I wouldn't make him redo something because I know how difficult it is to do it. So sometimes I would want to come in early before he gets to that point.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
no return.
Then of no return. So we can go through it together. And also because I did some sound myself. Sometimes when I'm filming, the things I know sound can fix.
Yeah.
Like we're shooting something and I'm like, yeah, sound will make this work. So I work with sound already kind of like thought out of. So again, because of that experience. So even now when I'm doing CGI, I might not be able to do it to the level of, let's say, Marvel. But if I had a company that can do it for me, it would be easier even for them.
Because to even direct them and
Yeah.
say this is what you want to
Because
achieve.
even when I'm shooting, I know that if that shot is going to be tracked later on, these are some of the things that have to be done. Because I've done it myself, and it's harder if I don't do these things. So if I put them in place, it's easier for whoever is going to do it.
So basically, in the next 2-3 years, the films that you're going to be putting out, kugamba chigena kuba bloody,
It's pretty exciting.
Hopefully.
It's pretty Ahuura, you, and because I've watched you since those days when you used to play in Milege.
Yeah.
And don't laugh. But you're a keyboard player.
Yeah.
You sing.
Yeah.
You mix. There was a point I didn't say jumped out of, but like you became disinterested in working on songs. You wanted something bigger. You were hungry for, I don't know if that's the time Loukman met you, but like you went into a certain atmosphere that so many people were not even thinking about. to movies, like doing sound for movies. And you used to tell me that thing way back then.
Yes.
And I would be like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. I don't know, because our movie industry then, and when I say then, that's like 7 years ago or 5 or something like that, wasn't probably as advanced as it is right now. But then you jumped into it. And I also saw you won some kind of award as Quad A.
Yeah.
What really pushed you into that, that space?
So we're actually celebrating 10 years this month. Yeah.
As Quad A.
Yeah.
Do you have a performing artist on the event? I'm available.
Wow, it would be good to have you, man.
I'm also a dancer.
Probably will have an orchestra. And we'll hear all
that
these.
movie sound.
Yeah.
Well,
speaking of orchestra, he was directing a choir, and it was so interesting to watch.
And we actually captured behind the scenes of that.
Wait,
So
in which movie?
There's a movie. I don't know. Is there
There's
name?
Oh, it's okay.
There's a movie we're working on together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
it's hush
Okay.
stuff.
Still
Yes.
hush.
Tuchari low level.
Well, classified.
We don't have clearance.
Yes, classified information.
We don't have
Go on.
clearance.
So anyway, so Kwade has now been around for about 10 years. So we went through the cycle. The cycle of you first start working alone and thinking that you can do it alone. But then you sort of discover that this need that is across the globe, like there is such a great need for this, and you can't service the entire let's just even leave globe. Let's come to the market.
The continent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
The country.
Uganda, country.
Yeah.
You cannot service the country alone. So the realization of that was, okay, instead of doing this myself, let me have to work with like-minded people who can see that there is a need and can align themselves to the purpose of addressing that need. So
First pause there. Did you catch that, Beno?
Yeah.
One
align that need.
One of the problems why many organizations fail is, let's say, sometimes the leaders fail to bring the people they are working with to the same page, which you call aligning.
Yeah.
So they come as if they've come to do a gig, get money and go away. They need to understand the bigger picture.
Yeah. Indeed, vision.
Because even these guys, as they recruit artists here, the label has a vision. The artists have to understand that.
Yeah.
That is why many artists fall out with labels, because their visions are completely different. That's really powerful.
And you can't blame them. If they don't see your vision,
you need to make them understand,
because everyone essentially has their purpose in life. And if your purpose in life does not align with the vision of the company,
then
you're wasting time.
Why
are you burning 5 hours, 8 hours? Why burning 8 hours of your day to something that is not aligning with your purpose? Quit and go and do something that, in fact, we were talking about this.
Lookman.
How we were saying that we would rather live in life doing something we enjoy to do than waking up to do something you don't love to do
and still fail at it. That's like a double fail.
So anyway, we went through that whole cycle, and it's a double fail. So we went through that cycle and started aligning ourselves with people that understood, and we've built a very good team.
That's so powerful.
Yes. People have come in, fallen off, as they do. I mean, people come, they add their contribution to the company, it grows.
Then they grow into...
So there are many mistakes we made, there are many things that we learned, we're not perfect, but there was one thing that kept on driving us. We want to see quality. In fact, Quad A stands for quality. So we wanted to have something that the other people have, because we started saying, okay, the artists in Uganda, they are singing, but do they have a market? And that's why I really applaud Swang's Avenue for saying, okay, let us complete this cycle. We'll get this artist, make sure that they go through the whole cycle, 360. And there's a market, we'll help them build their careers. Because those were gaps that were missing in the industry. And then we saw further. We said, okay, these films, how can we actualize quality in the industry? And so that's when we saw a gap in the film and entertainment industry. Film in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there was no one who was dedicated to
just doing quality sound for a movie
without compromising. Like,
apart from getting sounds and throwing there, to actually score.
Actually, editors,
editors
indeed, editors were the ones at the time who do like
sound.
You edit and then you put in the sound.
Yes, you do it yourself.
I used to do it myself.
You get what I mean? To his point.
And I tried actually with like a producer, like a music producer, not a composer. And I was just trying to explain to them the idea. You know, like I give you the film, you watch it, and on your keyboard, you just do buttons. They don't even have to be musical. Just something interesting.
Score to picture.
Score to picture. And they're like, but they just weren't getting it. So
we started to improve, and for me, that's one of the biggest thing in our mission. It's not only to just do quality work, but also to train the next generation. Because when we're not here, who else is going to pick up from what we're doing? So we started to train and add more value so that there are more people who can do this work. And so slowly we started making mistakes, started learning along the way how to correct. And along the way we learned, we wanted to do without excuses. So we started wanting to know who is the best in the industry and who is doing the technology that we need to use so that there's no excuse for people to say, I've taken my movie to Europe, it's being done. No, we have the capacity to do it here.
So you actually took a class with Hans Zimmer, right?
No. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that was a master class.
Oh, it's a class.
It's just a master class. It was not special, but it's just a master class that he does.
He just gives you a hint of like how he works and stuff like that.
Indeed.
So what else did you study?
So there was certification with Dolby. There was also composing music. We also got certification in audio production. We also got certification in audio post-production, because those are different fields. So and once we really did perform well, and
thank you.
We kept on trying to learn, because you see the challenge is that technology is ever evolving.
Changing.
So the things that we learned then, we were learning THX. THX is a standard, one of the standards that we're using. But right now, Dolby is taking over. Like sound formats and encoding. So you have to keep on updating. So even if you know the other technology, there's another something else that's taking over the market. So anyway, we started learning, made mistakes. And I tell you, whoever is listening, make mistakes. Mistakes are good, because if you fail to make mistakes, you will not grow. You
fail to know what is not good.
Indeed. So anyway, we made a lot of them, and we have kept on learning, and that's how along the way we met Loukman.
Which award did you win? Was it in Egypt?
No. Okay. So this is much later. This was to do with the capacity to building capacity. So we had an award that we won in Egypt to help build.
You see how I follow you? You're on my radar.
Yeah.
You guys are doing great things.
No. Thank you so much.
Okay. So now, in case people were wondering why we have Loukman and Ahuura in the house, let's get to check out some of.
I've remembered another point that I wanted to say when he was speaking. So, on a certain TV show, someone sent me a clip when they were talking about Azawi's album African Music. They're like, "Hey, Banai, who mixed the album?" So the person on that TV show was saying, "No, they took her music to outside countries and they mixed it." So I laughed so hard. I was like, "Oh, yeah." So that they can actually think that was so. When people watch, let's say, The Girl in the Yellow, jumper or stuff, some of the stuff that these guys have done, I guarantee you, like 60% of the people will be like, "No, those guys sent those things to America, and they put those sounds there, and then they brought it back." But all that stuff is done here.
Yeah, just like today at the academy, some of our students they were like, so Loukman, we heard that you went and studied at Disney. So Loukman like, yo, I've never been to Disney.
But that sounds good.
Not even for a visit, huh?
That you went to Disney
To study. Yeah.
Study
Wow.
these
Interesting.
things, which is a compliment.
It's
as
a compliment for someone to
But
think-
it shows that, and I think it's important to hear the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get to a point that you can be compared to Disney?
To Disney.
Yeah.
You know,
That you make products
the
that are
sacrifices that you have done and the
Disney
time you have
worthy.
taken.
And the beauty is for them finding out that, yo, this is a guy who had just passion and he's been doing his thing.
Yeah.
Very inspiring.
Mastering his craft and also like the stuff he uses, you know, anyone can have access to
Yeah.
what he does, and you know, anyway.
Okay, play the video. I was gonna say fold your laptop so that
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I can see
the
where-
screen.
And of course, we'll talk about some of.
So this is the
Do you know the expression, no good deed goes unpunished?
This is Moroto, right?
Okay, so would you say that me picking you up there was a good deed on my part?
It was a very good thing, and may the good Lord
Huh?
bless
You're
you very much.
constructing the road right behind us.
Oh,
Let me tell you a story.
You know what's funny about that being a true story?
it is a true story.
it's a true story.
That was one of my favorites.
Really?
Yeah,
Scene.
yeah.
Doing all these things without a fight.
I
Interesting.
mean, if you haven't watched this movie on Netflix, I don't know. I don't know what to say to you.
yeah,
Jekari, I'm so proud to-
Netflix.
You know, how long did it take you to score this movie? Well, I know that's a weird question because then you shot the scenes at different times.
Yeah, it's so when you're doing a short movie, it normally takes about 30 minutes. Takes about a month and maybe 2 weeks to do scoring. So there are different facets in audio post production.
Yeah.
So when we're making films, and there are 5 facets. There is dialogue.
Yeah.
And there is foley. Foley is human interaction with objects. Me holding a cup and what, that's
Yeah.
foley.
Yeah.
Then there is sound effects. Sound
Yeah.
effects are your explosions, your
SFX.
guns. There is backgrounds. Backgrounds is the environment
Yeah.
that you're in.
Yeah.
And then there is music.
Okay.
Now, these 5 elements is what you craft together to help immerse someone
into
the
the
story,
environment.
in this story.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Ooh.
now trying to tell a story, if these 5 elements, they have to work together. So it's an art form of saying who is taking center stage. Is it music right now? Is it dialogue right now?
That's
Is it sound
interesting.
effects now? Is
Yeah.
it foley? Because it's the craft. It's how you tell the story.
Yeah.
And so you have to take time to break each element. Now each element takes its own time.
Yeah.
And you have to have specialists to have like someone who does dialogue editing. They make sure the dialogue can be heard.
Doesn't
Yeah.
sound like some phrases are too loud, then others are too
Yeah.
low. Yeah.
So professionally, some people, depending on the capacity of the post facility, some do 2 months or a month. Others even do 6 months.
Yeah, no.
There's a movie, one of the big movies, 3 hours, that was done for half a year.
Yeah.
Or just in post production,
Yeah.
Just
fixing
doing sound.
sound and what. And
But then you see, well, the interesting thing though is that all those 5 elements have to be working together,
yes.
Yeah.
because you might do music that is off, even
Yes.
though the foley is correct and the
Indeed.
dialogue is good, but then
Indeed.
the SFX is doing something else.
Yeah.
So it all has to work together. Some people don't know why they cry, when they're watching movies.
Yeah.
But really,
Music,
like, to be honest, like they're playing with
Actually,
your
I'll tell you
emotions
this.
using the sound.
Music is the only thing. Okay, I like saying this. Music is the only thing that was not created. Every other thing was created. So,
Say that again.
music
For my slow brain.
is the only thing that was not created. Every other thing was created. Water, sun, light, every other thing was created. But music is the only thing that was never created. So music has the ability to permeate and enter different. That's why I can
Subconscious.
manipulate you
Yeah.
to feel a certain way in 1 hour.
Yeah.
I can make you happy, I can make you sad in the same movie.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
So it's a very powerful tool that
Very,
we
very
use
powerful.
to tell a narrative in the time that we're left with.
Yeah.
Like to make you feel so excited. I just need to know the frequencies I'm going to work with and I manipulate you to feel a certain way.
Because you know the funny thing, like in the same movie, you can watch, let's say, someone who starts off as a good character,
Yes.
but then towards the end of the movie, they turn into a bad character.
Yes.
But just the
And you hate
sound,
them.
yeah, you start hating them.
Yeah.
You're like, how did I start off loving this character so much?
Yeah.
And now I hate them. I remember the funny story about the Ebonies had that show called That's Life Mwatu. Yo, so there was this chick who had very bad manners. I don't remember what her name was.
Nakaunde.
Vicky.
Was it Vicky?
Vicky.
Vicky was the dark one.
Nakaunde
Was the nice one from the village.
Yeah. Vicky.
So Vicky apparently used to be hated on
Yeah.
the street.
Yes.
Like in Kampala,
Yeah.
people would say and be like, "That is a bad woman."
Yeah.
They wouldn't be like, "No, she's just
just
acting."
acting. True.
Yes.
They would think that that's how she is in real life.
I'm curious to get a glimpse of like the work process of you
Yeah.
two. What, say for example, you're working on a movie. When does it come in? Is he a big part in the pre-production? Or does it come in when you've shot and now you're putting stuff together, you have a rough cut, then you take to him, why because I know you guys have a good long working relationship, but does it come in before or
usually for us it actually comes in at the script level. When the script is ready, I send it over to him, so when he's reading the script he can start visualizing what he thinks it will be like, a scale and what kind of music. So at that point, when I'm also just still imagining how things will look, I start, checking out ideas, musical ideas. So I send him clips, temp stuff. I like this song. I like this. There are temps that he knows I use in
references.
everything. Every single thing I've sent him. There's like that one song I always use. So it's more to cement the fact that I like that kind of music. So I like simple instruments. I don't like things that are so crowded. And the funny thing about music is, when you notice it, then it's not good.
Yeah.
Yes.
In a movie.
Yes.
and I think it applies to. It applies to especially the other things with sound. Like SFX. Like if someone shoots a gun, and you're like, oh, the sound of that gun, then that sound doesn't fit.
You have taken the person out of the story.
Yeah,
they shouldn't
in fact,
be
I was
thinking about that.
This is what I was saying sometimes, that even me when I'm playing with my band, if one of the guys, like I'm in the in the zone, and then one of the guys plays something that gets my attention, like it pisses me off. I'm like, no, just give me what in band language you call a bed. Give me a bed to execute what I'm trying. Don't be, let me perform in peace, for lack of better words.
That's it.
Don't distract. So I understand what he means, that the music shouldn't, you don't even know it's there.
No.
Yeah.
The picture has taken your attention.
The story,
but
not even the picture.
Not even the picture, but the story.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's exactly the same thing, even with the cinematography. So there's a great cinematographer called Roger Deakins.
Oh my
Now
goodness.
he says, and this is something I've noticed it in myself. When I just started, I used to only shoot with like long lenses. You know, they give you that nice depth of field.
Yeah.
It's a very appealing image. I used to shoot that a lot. But the more I've explored and the more I've done things like directing and stuff, I tend to go more on the cinematography that works as opposed to good-looking pictures. And I think it's the same thing with music. I mean, you can have a really good song, but it just doesn't work
for the picture.
Yeah, and we go through this a lot with Andrew.
Yes, we do.
We have a sequence, and Andrew plays a song, and I listen to it, and I'm like, you know what, Andrew, I love this music, but it only works when I have my eyes closed. It only works when I'm not seeing the picture. It doesn't work with this picture. Sometimes we just drag it and push it to the end of the project, and we think of something else to do. And because we usually compose together, actually. So he's seated there, and then he's like, ting, 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 ting. Now, it's very difficult to, for example, design when the client is right here. Because you're like, oh, okay. Most times he will be doing something like this, and I'm like, Andrew, that's a really good tune. He's like, really? You like this? This is like,
oh, that's a musician.
And then and he's like, but it's so simple. And I'm like, that's exactly why
what I'm looking for.
And then he will
especially
develop
because
that.
of my background.
Yeah, you like codes.
It's a very funny story. When we had just started, I think maybe Blind Date there. Might have been Blind Date there.
Oh, yes.
So one of my favorite soundtracks up to today, the Blind Date soundtrack. Maybe this one we've done now might be better. But for the Blind Date was so good. In fact, I thought that would probably become the one that I will always use, like repeat. And then you dissuaded me on 16 rounds. But when he was designing that, it was a whole, I don't know how long it was, but it had all these sections that are packed with music. So I was like, okay, Andrew, can we take out all these things and just leave like 2 things only? Andrew's like, Then he takes them out. Those are the days. And then when I come back, he has added in another one. I'm like,
no?
I'm like, Andrew, I'm hearing
something.
What's that thing I'm hearing? And then eventually we agreed. And the interesting thing is that I'm like the ear of reason, I guess. Him, he's playing things that are meant to be technically correct. And for me, I'm there to be the guy that says...
The director.
The layman. I'm like, okay, the way that sounds, I can listen to this soundtrack like over and over again because it's not tiring. But before it was like, there was
too much
that it was meant to be listened to once because it's so, everything is there. But now you've pulled out, you left all the good parts that you wanted to repeat over and over again. You've only had them like once. So when I listen to that, and I always give him an example with Philip Collins' song, the one of is it called?
I can feel
that
it.
one. I'm like, the way it starts, and then it gives you that ending. You always go back because it's a build.
Yes.
But if he had started with the drums, it becomes overbearing. So because
it has been a learning process.
But you see, that's when I remember when I had just come to Swangs. I used to work with Benon, and Benon used to laugh at me a lot. So they would give me like commercials, like to do music for a commercial. I'd get in there, pull out all the guns. And then it's like, well. And then we'd send it to the clients. The clients would be like, yeah. And then I would be so emotionally hurt. I'd be like, how can they not like this beat? This is so nice. And then he kept on telling me, no.
It's
you
not
have
about
to understand.
simple stuff.
Yeah, it's these guys. Most of the 75% of the times, they think you think that they will be like, guys, this is so good. We love this, and you're like, what? They love this.
In fact, that's the surprising thing.
The issue is, before the music was standing out too much,
and
they're not supposed to notice it. They're just supposed to look at the image and they connect with the emotion. And when that's happening,
that's so powerful.
You don't realize the music is just
aiding.
It's aiding, and this is why someone will listen to a soundtrack and it will take them back to the movie. Because now they don't have the pictures, and they can only think about the movie. You get.
So whenever
they want to get back into that zone, that feeling.
So and that's a thing that it's a growth. And for me, I think that's why our relationship between Loukman and Quad A is very interesting, because we have grown. I mean, he involves us at script stage.
Yeah.
We start to think
There's
and
a lot of trust.
imagine.
Yeah.
And imagine, and you're like, okay, so here, this is what we bounce off ideas. He sends me songs. This is what I'm feeling. And with excitement and with the history of, so you want to dive in and like give it your best.
Yeah.
But then he's the voice of reason, as he has said. He scales it down for you and says, no. Okay, that's too. Let us try and put it down.
Yeah.
But the maturity
It takes.
to learn and say, and I think that's what's missing in our generation. Because we are now in the knowledge age. Everyone, YouTube
You
is
want to
there.
pull out all the
so
guns.
you want to think that you know everything. You can't. You have your opinion.
Yeah.
We're so in an opinionated generation.
Yeah.
Everyone's opinion is right. But to learn is to first put what you think you know. Because I mean, I studied this, but I think I know, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So it has been a journey, and I think it's a very great lesson here to say, okay, if the director, this is the director's vision, this is where the director wants to go with this. Having the ability to say, this music, if we take out these elements, they will support that element. It's a very, because we have been thinking together. So at script, we go from script, and from script you go into production. So we are walking the journey with him. We're on set together. Actually, in the most of the sets, we are there seeing, okay, what's happening? Have we captured this?
So that everything is in sync.
In sync.
Yeah.
The dialogue is captured right. That even the ambience from room tones.
They
to
make
wild
us
tracks.
redo things.
Yes.
We're filming, we're like, okay, so that's a wrap, and then he comes up and he's like, so look, man, there's this thing we didn't get. So we have to do that again.
Oh my God.
An aeroplane has just passed.
Yeah.
This one has just. Please, let's do that again.
Wait,
And
when are you guys shooting? I want to come and be on the set. I won't disturb. I won't touch anything.
You will carry some stuff
Oh yeah, I can carry
to
some
look
bags.
useful.
it's look useful. But it's, I mean, it's an interesting experience to be on set because you then experience what the actor's experiencing, so you know how to translate that into post. So then we come then to post. We then
Your work is less.
closely.
Yeah.
Closely. It's a relationship.
Yeah.
You come and everyone at the facility knows when Loukman walks in, he's going to give us direction. He's a leader. He comes in and says, okay, so this is. It's very hard to work with clients who don't know where they want to go.
It reminds me of Nelson, who we want to have on the show.
Yes.
He talks a lot about how to capture sound.
Yeah.
There's this time I went to his studio and he played for me a song. He said, "What do you think of this song?" I was like, "My God, this song is well mixed." And he's like, "That's the point. It wasn't mixed at all. That's the way it was recorded." I was like, "You're kidding me." And he's like, "Yep. We just put the mics in the right position. We did the levels were right. In that when you listen to it in the recorded session, you think it's mixed.
It's mixed.
But we were just trying to make our post work."
There's actually
Much,
another
much
song.
easier.
There's another song he did, and he says at that point where he was recording it from in Wandegea, they didn't have soundproof.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of noise. You can hear cars, but
He left that sound in there.
actually when he redid a different version that
We were
is
like,
clean.
no.
I hate
The other
that.
version was more.
That is so true.
Yes.
He does temps
Yeah.
for me. Like I was like, this is not yet mixed. When he mixes, I'm like,
No.
there's something you've taken out that was there before. 16 blind date.
Yes.
There's a thing he wanted to add on top, some filter that makes the sound bigger.
You're like, no.
And I'm like, Andrew, every time I walk out, he adds it back.
Yeah.
When I come back, I listen. I'm like, there's something that's echoey. I don't like. What's that thing? He's like, okay. Eventually, he's like, okay, you've caught me. Takes it off.
But your relationship with him, from what you're saying before, reminds me of one phrase someone said, that sometimes it's what we know, not what we don't know, that stops us from getting to where we want to get. In other words, you get to what you know already puts you in this kind of, should I say, complacent place where you feel like, no, this is the way things should be.
Are supposed to be.
And then you shut out your
Potential
to even expand into, like what you said before we came on the show, the people have the fear of the unknown. They're like, let me not jump into there. Let me stay with what I already know. And so we never we never
You
go
know,
to the next
you know
level.
that I sometimes I've re-edited entire sequences because of them.
Hey.
Like something was meant to be a different way. When I take it to them, they're like, this image just doesn't it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, I can't keep explaining it to everyone. Let me just go back and change it. Or maybe they create music.
Yeah.
Like when they saw it, they're like, this is nice. But when in the process of creating music, it just doesn't sit well.
Yeah.
So they're like, I'm like, okay, now, you know, music is so precious. Unlike images, where I can take this image, put it here, and bring this and put it here. A phrase of music, I don't think it will work. I think it needs to be the way it is, the way it's been born.
Yeah.
You can't just say, let me bring Lubanga this side and put Whipple on this side. It will not work.
Yeah.
So I've had to like re-edit entire sequences because
So
of
sometimes the music dictates.
actually music.
No, but you see,
Music, and this is, you asked this before.
Yeah.
Music is like it's like almost 80%.
Yeah.
Visual is 20.
Yeah.
you see,
It's interesting.
The environment.
I had disclaimer.
Eh,
Not every person talks like that. I think for us, that's why we uniquely work with him.
That's what
you get
when he
because-
said it, I wanted to bring it up
Yes.
because someone will say, "You change the music for me. This is the
Yeah.
picture that I want." Yeah, you know what I mean. So for Loukman to say, "Let me change it," well, that's a different
and I
environment.
think the synergy,
Yeah.
the synergy, and I think for us to make greater work of art,
Yeah.
and for us to craft, remember that it's an audio visual experience.
Yeah.
It can't be just visual. Like you have very good cinematography, the sound has to play.
It can, but it won't be as interesting. Because I mean, you remember the silent era, the movies that had zero music. At all.
Yeah.
But what music brings
And
is
no,
just
but
too much.
especially in this era now. I mean, watching on TikTok something that's just without sound. I mean, people have to use sound and visual to sort of balance. Actually, to that point, if you have a bad picture but you have very good audio,
You might get away with it.
Yeah.
you can get
You
away
will.
with it.
Yeah.
It's not a might. You will.
Have very good picture.
But
bad audio.
that's so powerful.
You need very patient people.
It will sound cheap.
You get what I mean?
It's funny because people don't realize how important.
But Ben, we're in
audio
school here. This is
There's a scene. There's a scene we
It's
made.
good we are recording. I was going to say I need take notes, but I'll just rewatch.
We're editing a scene. Our actors, they're not like the very best, of course. And the reason for that is not because it's not their own making. It's just where we've all been raised. Most of us have just learned these things from watching other people. We've not been educated like formally in school to how to act, how to do. And also our movie industry is young, so we don't have experience of like generations that we've watched. You know, so. You have these people that are acting a scene and it's like it's not very convincing, and someone just writes a piece of music and you overlay it, and all of a sudden
Yeah,
you're
the
like,
emotion.
wait a minute, wait a minute, this
Yeah.
actually kind of works.
Yeah.
It's interesting how much and people the issue with music is the same thing I told you before. Its job is to be invisible,
Yes.
and when your job is to just be invisible, like if you're the speechwriter for Obama, you're not there. Obama says your words.
Yeah.
So no one
And
will
he
ever
shines.
no one will ever think that
But
you're important.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
realizing? I think there's some matches that are made in heaven.
Yeah.
Like you guys.
Yeah.
Like Ben and Julius. Like I feel like the
Synergy.
you complement that word that is with E. Complement each other. Like it's what this person brings on the table and what this person brings on the table together. It's just it just grows into something big. I think one of the reasons some people's projects never work out, they fail to meet people who understand where they want to go.
No, the common goal.
Yeah, the common goal.
And it's the issue with collaborations. When people talk about collaborating, like I've been I've been accused many times of not wanting to collaborate with people. But it's usually what I'm looking for is that.
Yeah.
Like there has to be some value. Otherwise, what's the point?
Better keep saying that about music collaborations.
Yeah, there has to be value.
Or you're just doing
I mean, we can tick the box and
we did a collab.
But
it's like Michael Jackson and Prince. You get they pretty much sound the same. They do the same.
So
it's what's the point? You get. So sometimes I want to have people like we work together on things, but I'm thinking we both are in the same spectrum. We're pretty much doing the same thing.
Are you naturally a disciplined person, or you just Loukman said something
absolutely
that made me. So we were talking about cameras, and he was talking about the RAID. Was it the RAID? The one that get the RA.
The ARRI.
ARRI.
Yeah.
He says that. So he was saying this thing captures very good pictures, but because we are used to tweaking things. Even if the picture is good to go, in your head you're like, I have to tweak it. So now you end up spoiling what the camera had captured. Captured already.
There's a thing I shot here. It's called the Afro Samurai versus Sheep.
So okay.
I shot that.
Let me dig it up. I've seen it.
Like the prep work, we did all these things. That project. I didn't have to do any grading, but it presented a confusion for me because I'm coming from a background where I deal with poor footage that I have to almost.
So it's like it's now, at the back of your head. I have to do some grading.
Now I have this project. I look at it in post and I'm like,
no.
I guess that's it. I didn't actually have to do any grading. I did like a curves thing, but that's like, what's the equivalent of that?
It happens to me a lot in mixing these days. People send me a lot of stems to mix.
Yeah.
But those days I used to think that every single channel, I have to go and treat every single instrument. I have to put a plug in there to do something. But then lately I learned that some of the channels, some of the stems they send me, I leave them alone. I'm like, no, they already sound good. Fine. Yeah, just don't touch them.
It's a level of maturity.
Yeah.
Okay, I know we're running out of time, but I'm curious to have an idea for a guy like you who has shot a full feature in Nigeria. You've worked in SA. You've worked in all these different markets, and I'm wondering what is it that you saw that you think is missing here, and how was that whole experience like? It's
an interesting question. When you haven't traveled, you have that thing at anaita. So now you're there thinking that my mom is the best. Then you travel and you're like, maybe not. And then also that other saying of the grass always appears greener on the other side.
Yeah.
So then again you travel and you realize that, wait a minute. So
home is good.
When all the projects I've done, like for example the film I shot in Nigeria, it actually made me realize that we are actually quite talented. We just there's this what we're lacking, I think, is the fans and also the market. Our people haven't yet embraced us. Again, no fault of their own. It's like you can only embrace an industry that has embraced itself and it's trying to push out good work. So at the time, whatever we're putting out, people would come and get disappointed. So our people weren't that interested. But I think now we're starting to build interest. There was like two films, Tembere and Kafako, at the entire week. Cinemas were they were packed.
I've seen
people were there to watch Ugandan films. So of course that is not enough to justify the funding we need, like $1 million, of course.
But it's a good start.
It's a good start. So with all these the guy like in Nigeria, they're really not doing anything that different from us. I would go out and even say that I think when I was there, I noticed that there's some things that we perhaps do better. Not to put down anyone, but I feel like there's people. I guess that the lack of things has created Ugandans to be so creative, to be able to do things with less. So I think we just need some.
And I also actually think we do have the funds here, but I think we need to
People are
convince.
building malls.
No, that's what I'm saying.
And apartments.
But that shows that the money is here. If they can build
But
those
the justification,
Yeah,
return on
'cause
investment.
that's something that is happening to us in sound. For example, like in live sound, like for concerts, we don't have a PA big enough. A proper PA. For example, like to serve, like say a stadium like Namboli or
Lugogo.
Yeah.
Even Lugogo.
You understand, like a proper.
Yeah.
When we come to those situations, we have to get either
To
from
import.
to import a sound system that has the capacity to serve all those people.
Yeah.
So, but then I know that here we have people who have the money to buy those
Invest.
PA systems, but convincing them, or just like you guys say, justifying and say, no, you can put your money here, but we need the industry to go into that direction. It's easy. It's not easy. It's easier for someone to say, no, you put up a mall there.
But I think in Uganda, it's our culture.
The culture, it's
The culture
a
is-
generational thing.
Someone has to first make billions from sugarcane
Yeah.
for anyone else to try them. on.
Yeah.
And then once someone makes money,
Fear
then
of the unknown.
they'll crowd it.
Yeah.
And then like vanilla. People will chop down everything they have to start that because it has worked for someone.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Malls
there's
were
an
working for
opportunity.
people.
It's a generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But it's true here in Uganda. Even if you start selling shoes and you become a millionaire, trust me. Look at what happened in real estate. When people say there's money in real estate, everyone became a real estate agent in Uganda. So I think, I don't know, is it a general?
think
But
we have
I'm
to.
also happy that you guys,
Yeah.
when people see your movies on Netflix, or if people see our music, blowing up on Apple Music and all that, people start believing and say,
That,
"Oh, this thing
yo,
can work."
Yeah. And what I
Biringa eby'abazungu ate nga byawano.
what I realize about movies is like with movies and production in general, you can't just enter halfway. You have to like go
Dive in head first. Yeah.
put in all you got. Because for example, with movies, if you don't get the best camera, your movie will never compete with the ones that were shot.
Yeah.
If you, all these things cost money.
Yeah.
So if an investor is like, I'm going to give you okay, I'll give you 10M. It's not going. You won't get that 10M back. So it's a funny way. The way it works is funny. The more you invest, the more you're likely to get out. If you invest in very little, you're likely to not get anything out.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
true.
see why it's hard to convince people.
I want to publicly make a request from you guys. We have an academy here, both in audio and video. I know you're very busy, but
Lazy.
when you get chance, I believe when we have classes that you guys can come.
He has
and-
just been in one of our classes today, and
and the kids were
asking
So-
all these interesting questions. You could see that they were starstruck.
when you have the time, you just come and throw those gems
problem.
Yeah.
for people to hear.
I don't mind sharing, but in the format, I can't just stand there and talk.
True.
No, I know.
No,
with Loukman,
but
I
guess
know,
what,
I know how
Loukman?
Loukman works.
Just what you did today.
That's what I'm saying.
that
Like,
was enough.
once the people start asking questions, he can go.
Yes. So, I wouldn't even want you to change
To
change the
organize your
format
speech
and
and
no. Just
Walk in.
your personal experiences, because that will make a student understand that, oh, this guy is just, he also made mistakes. He did this. Sometimes we tend to think that, okay, I have to tell these guys, this is
R2 squared.
No.
Yeah.
So just your experience.
The thing about we were talking about mistakes earlier with him and failing, not fearing to fail, because you can also fail on things you don't like.
Yeah.
Like you can choose to become a grave digger, and you can also fail at that. So it's better to just choose what you want,
What you want to do.
and take
Purpose.
a chance. Take a chance with that.
Yeah.
So I've been doing these things. Even yesterday I failed actually. It's something I was trying to do and it failed. But it
I
happens.
know we're running out of time. How does that whole life for both of you affect your relationship with your families? How do you handle that? Do your families, are they part of your inspiration?
Oh, they are.
To do
They
what
are.
you do?
But they have to love it the way you love it. Otherwise,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why it's very
Wow, this
important
is exciting. Let's go.
to find the best partner
Yeah.
to walk with on that journey.
it should probably
It's part of the other vision thing, like aligning. It's part of that, eh?
And shout out to my wife. My wife has been and actually Loukman actually apologizes to her. I'm sorry.
Your husband.
And but she says,
but it's his fault. Like we're working on the trailer, right? So I come to him, I tell him, okay, Andrew, this trailer is not urgent. Take your time. Right?
Passion.
I go home. Now I know they don't work on weekends. So I'm like, should I call him on Saturday? I don't want to okay, let me just call him and just because I wanted to tell him something else about something else. He's like, so yeah, I'm at studio working on this. I'm like, bro, on the weekend. And then I go join him, so we work together and we leave at midnight. And the wife is calling, so I'm like, but you have to have people.
You have
that
to
understand.
have someone who supports.
The day I meet someone, let's say we'll go on a date, and they're like, I can't stand movies. I'm like, okay,
nice.
Let's remove this number because
they need to want all of
they
you.
need
have to
to
enjoy things
understand.
that I enjoy.
Get a support system that understands.
So it's not just workmates, but even your other.
Yes,
I remember
Even friends. Like if my friends.
No, Julia says that a lot. Yeah.
If my friends hate what I do, then what are we going to
What
talk
are you doing
about?
with them?
Yeah. What's the point?
A funny story about me and Andrew. Him and his wife on my birthday took me to the theater to watch a movie. You know what movie it was? Ninja Turtles.
Civil.
You think you're a baby.
Civil.
We go to watch.
You watched Ninja Turtles,
Baby
but it
movie.
was very beautiful.
I remember I went on a date with someone to an orchestra.
To
watch an orchestra.
That would be so nice.
That's life changing, man.
Yeah.
Listening to
and
this.
and I think it changed my perspective in regards to music. Because generally I don't like live performances. And the reason for that is it's I don't know how to explain it, but if I listen to a song, the moment you say Mutuwulira, it bothers me. Yeah. Because I want it exactly
how it
was. Because that's the version that I like. That's what I came to see. The moment you start telling me to sing and do these things, me, I'm not happy. So but at the orchestra, what they were doing is they get a song and they extend it. So the song they push it forward. And then at the beginning here, they build up to that song, like one instrument at a time. And you get to appreciate all the instruments that are in. And it was an amazing thing to... So that's the first time
was this in Disney?
No.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
So, Quad A 10th year anniversary. I think that is what we're going to experience,
orchestra.
Right? Then,
Andrew with his castic.
Yeah.
Let's keep the doors open.
Please put out a soundtrack of because man, a lot of that is very beautiful music. You've done a lot of nice pieces. But can we find them somewhere?
I've seen some movie soundtracks on Apple Music.
Like a concert where you're playing movie soundtracks.
Oh my God!
That would be amazing.
And different.
And you already have the visuals, so
challenge.
No, don't say challenge. That's such a good thing already.
The challenge is
it doesn't have to be a concert of 1,000 people. You invite people that like this kind of stuff. They pay enough to make sure
it covers your costs.
Those have been in the program. But you see,
you need to do a first one.
You can't do some things alone. As I said, sometimes you want to venture out and do things.
No, okay, we shall talk about it and see how to execute it.
So if you have like-minded people, I mean, this is a very good vibe. I mean, getting people who think alike.
I would even put up a fund for that. Because I've experienced.
Me, I would put my whatever they call it, expertise. No, for real.
So I mean, it's a good idea. We've been thinking about it, and I think having like-minded people coming on the project would be something amazing. And man, let's get to talk about it.
We can explore and make it happen.
Seriously, with film in the background. I mean, that's what Hans Zimmer does. Hans Zimmer moves around continent to continent, just playing back Batman, playing a Lion King, and people have this are taken back, as you were saying.
Who did Game of Thrones?
Ramin Djawadi, and having that being played live. it's like it's another experience.
That would be
It's,
very.
So I think it's a very good thing.
Yeah.
It's a very good thing.
Like, like those intimate things, concerts where there's not that
like
many people.
400
And then you
people.
grow slowly. Because I would be, I'm so interested in that.
Yeah.
So interested in that.
I'm already thinking of what venue would,
Wow.
and
The
not kill,
the
because
National Theatre.
it's important to have
Good sound.
the good sound, but also like the
Wow, this is being
environment.
birthed.
It has
I
to
think
be.
National Theatre would be nice.
But this is like,
small and a bit like it has that
A bit cozy.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has that
Well
feel.
acoustic.
and this is a
Yeah.
niche. This is a niche audience that will pay
Yeah.
to come and see this. You don't need to fill up Nachivubo.
No.
Yeah, no.
There goes our first project.
Okay.
Yeah.
National Theatre it is. Huh?
Yeah.
Hmm,
No, better
okay.
we should,
I would pay for like 20 people for that. That's how interested
Cool.
I am. in that,
So
that
we've
idea.
already sold 20 tickets.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're out of time. Let's check this out. I know this guy, Tyson.
I wanted to make a documentary about him. Like you know all these music videos, but do you know
Yeah,
Tyson's story.
it's so interesting. I think we were one of the first guys who shot in that Kawempe back in the days of Benin and Vampus.
Yeah.
By the way, if in case you didn't know, just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah. So
There's a very interesting story
we have an-
about
we have an
our
elder.
producer here is also Zinjanthropus. He shot one of our videos when we were still young.
Yeah, for him it was old already.
He was old already.
He's the one who shot me reggae. He shot me reggae.
I saw him on Chigenya Genya. He was in the credits.
In the credits. And guess what, man?
But
I
how
wonder
old is
how
that
he
man?
manages to stay
Keep
young.
young.
Because now we look like age mates. Could
Yeah.
be the guys.
It's a vampire.
Yeah.
Jathiropas.
Anyway, so what is
Summarize.
this?
So as that's playing, we went to shoot this. I had a guy who was going to act this role. This guy was building. You see the cement on his head. He was building. So as this guy is preparing, dressing up, I'm like, wait, Tyson, Soko J, stand in front of the camera, and I was like, yo, this guy looks scary. Put the clothes on this guy, and then we ended up with this guy.
Wow.
Good thing is the actor who was going to do it was a brother of mine that practices karate. Being family, he knows that I don't do it because I don't like him.
Yeah.
I just got a better person. So
Yeah.
let me show
Oh
this.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't really have to grade this because just
The camera.
just looked good.
Did you shoot this on a Black Magic?
We shot this on a red
Red?
on the Gemini. The first time I used it, this is what we shot. Yeah,
It looks really, really nice.
looks
Okay.
intense.
Hey.
You're all wondering, why do I use the blade? Why didn't I choose a more popular weapon? Why not something quicker? Why did I choose a weapon that only comic book nerds care about? Ask all you want, but are you ready for the answer? Any more questions?
Precision.
But
This is ungraded.
Well, there's the smallest thing you can do to picture. That's what I did on
Oh
that.
my god.
Because again, I'm programmed to do things to picture.
Yeah.
I-
And I enjoyed this. I enjoyed chess. Actually, it made me think that there's something coming.
It's because
But,
they let me write this. That's why it had like a film
A film,
kind of feel
yeah.
to it.
It was really, really good, and I wish it could be something that they can
The
take
feature.
on, and it could be a nice study mini-series that
Yeah. Good luck getting plans for it.
Yeah. You did the music?
In like a day.
So imagine that at a concert.
Yeah. And he knows me how I like French horns. So I'm like, where's my French horn? He's like, let's wait for that drone shot.
The marimba.
I also jungle.
I mean,
Did you actually break a glass?
2 glasses. It was the first time it jumped too quick, too soon.
What?
This was probably the scariest part of the shoot.
Either tell us what we want to
Hang him
know.
up, and I've
or
never
your
seen a
story
grown man
is-
cry. He actually, you see, there's a rope
Are
holding
you
him.
ready?
He just painted
but
it
it's
out.
scary.
When he came out of that thing,
He was like, I'm not doing
took
this
a
again.
while for him to get back to normal.
wasanga jamu
He was so scared.
segera kati wava mu jamu badde wakala kumbe ewaka muzeyi kirula yadde yakyazizza
And all these were guys
Kati
we
sanyu.
found there.
ne boyfriend we bagwe bati oluggi nga muzeyi kirula
In the same key.
mpeme dakika
Hey. Nice. But you see, when I'm watching, I can't.
You can't
I'm
tell.
not focusing on that.
Yes.
Yeah, not, yeah.
For stories you can't let go. Keep chasing that thrill. Only on Pearl Magic Prime.
This is a show they can take on, man.
People asking me, okay, I can't wait. You know, in the comments, people say,
yeah,
I can't wait. I'm like, but that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Anyway, Loukman Ali,
The conversation.
Andrew Ahuura, it's been a pleasure. Loukman Ali,
Pleasure.
asante sana.
Thank you guys for
It's
hanging
been
out
the
with us.
Master Bus.
The Master Bus Podcast. Again, please
Okay,
like, follow, subscribe,
those things.
click the bell icon. What am I leaving out?
Hey, those things.
Yeah, those things that help you see everything that we are doing. Let us know what you guys think of the show.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for the support.
Like, comment, say hello to these guys.
Yeah.
Ask them questions. We'll answer in the comments.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
Twina ne mobile
Otherwise,
money.
Mobile money. Eleta manya G.
Yes. Yeah, man.
Hey.
Signing out.
Thank
Master
you.
Bus.
The Master Bus. Thank you very much. Because even the way he talks is like,
Yeah,
what's up?
it's like,
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was at Jamie Foxx's house and he told me, I'm like, wait up.
wait, but roll it back.
I couldn't even imagine.
When I got the call to do some Netflix content.
What's the biggest song you've ever produced?
I think Mr. DJ